Good afternoon, and thanks for joining. We're just to let everyone know, I think Zoom lets you know that we are recording this because we had a lot of requests for the interview per person. Just want to make sure that I think our administrator is muting everyone except for Brandon and I. We will be taking questions in the chat room. So if you have a chat, you may want to hit that preference at the bottom so I can take questions, and we will allow you to ask questions directly. Thanks for joining us in the second of a series of InsureTechs and how they're affecting the warranty industry and changing the landscape. I want to introduce Brandon, and Brandon is CEO of Clyde. And Brandon, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in the warranty business?
Totally. So, yeah, I guess a little bit about me. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I founded Clyde back in 2017. My background is not in the warranty space at all. It's actually I studied architecture, and then I jumped into the entrepreneurial world immediately out of school and joined a small startup out of Ohio. My background is really in design and in retail, which is where sort of the inspiration for Clyde came from originally. Yeah, I mean, that's the brief summary of my background. Happy to explain more of anything that you think would be helpful, Dan.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone really set out in college to have a career in warranty. As most people know, so we all kind of find our way there. So it looks like thanks for finding your way to our little kingdom.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about Clyde and where you all are as a company and kind of your vision?
Definitely. So I'll just start with the origin story real quick, because I think that that's helpful for sort of explaining how I got here. As I mentioned, my background is in architecture and design, and I was, out of school responsible for essentially figuring out the go-to-market for a really unique product that this company, the small startup, was building. And a part of my go-to-market strategy was launching a warranty program. And my experience was with Shopify, with Stripe, with Affirm. I was having these amazing fintech experiences. And then in the warranty side, I remember I literally Googled Affirm for warranty. Nothing came up. And I was like, well, how do I even do this? I don't know what I'm doing here. And there was no really good resource to turn to actually get something up and running. So that was the seed of myself actually trying to launch a warranty program. Fast forward to today, we've raised a very significant amount of funding. We're about to announce our Series B. We've scaled a team from what was realistically 4 co-founders to now 80 people, growing to 120 by the end of the year. And what we've done is basically taken a market that wasn't all that interested in doing warranty, honestly. And when I say market, I mean everybody that's not, a Walmart or an Amazon or a PC Richards. I'm talking about up and coming emerging brands, or even extremely large brands, household brands that just didn't look at the warranty space all that well. And what we've done is we've basically enabled any business to be able to do this. So whether you're a small SMB on Shopify, like I was when I was trying to launch a program on my own, to literally the biggest global OEMs that exist, they're turning to Clyde to actually launch their warranty programs. And the foundation for why all of that is happening is we're product people. And we've built a really unbelievable product, a really thoughtful product that makes it crazy fast to launch a program, really, really easy to manage, really, really easy to improve. Our merchants actually aren't involved whatsoever in the improvement of their program. We handle everything. And a truly delightful experience when a customer has an issue.
Okay. Do you see Clyde as an InsureTech? I mean, how do you define InsureTech? It's a broad word. A lot of people use it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I consider us an InsureTech. I kind of consider us a fintech. I think we're definitely retail tech. Warranty is this really, really interesting space where, I guess it's InsureTech because it is a service contract, is some would call it an insurance product. But I really think we're more of a retail product. I mean, we're a tool for retailers, and then we're a service for consumers. So ultimately, we're definitely an InsureTech. If you think about InsureTechs as businesses that have superior distribution models, like we're definitely an InsureTech. So I would say yes and no, Dan. I don't know. It's hard to.
It's
Probably the nature of the question.
A lot of people are seem to be shoehorning themselves into that category.
Right.
But so kind of my next question is so you see retailers and manufacturers more as your customers rather than competitors?
100%. Yeah, we talk about them as our partners.
Right.
Definitely. So I mean, they are where we acquire our customers. So we work with them very, very closely in partnership, and all of our financial incentives, and this is something we talk about in every single sales call, are aligned.
Right. Do you see manufacturers as really kind of looking at this as an extension of their brand value, to differentiate themselves from competitors in the marketplace?
Totally. So I mean, I can't say the name of this customer, but I can say it's a $10+ billion global OEM that I was talking to way back when, and they're launching with us in Q1 of next year. And when we first started talking to them, they were like, "We'll never do this. We just don't see warranty as something that is critical to our business. We don't think it's good for customers. It cannibalizes different parts of our business." And we sort of stuck with it. And we said, "Listen, look at our product, see the way we operate. It's extremely modular. Any issue that you have with it cannibalizing your business, we can push and pull our product in various ways to make sure it does work for you." And lo and behold, we'll launch in Q1. It'll end up being a huge part of their business. So I see them as major partners that ultimately will rely on Clyde for much, much more than extended warranty. This same partner recently said to us, "The more we can do with you, the better." And I think that's because they view us as extended warranty is something that is really impactful. It's not just like selling a software that you can download. It's a relationship that you have with your customer for 1 to 10 years. So they need to be really bought into working with you. And ultimately, that's the opportunity for us as Clyde as a platform.
Do you find that do you have a relationship with third-party administrators, or do you find that the OEMs typically like to administrate their own program?
So Clyde is a third-party administrator, and we also work with other third-party administrators for things that we don't want to, for categories we don't want to be in, and we don't have capabilities to be in. And we have a really incredible product for essentially adjudicating claims, but then enabling the OEM to essentially resolve them. And ultimately, it's a much better customer experience. And ultimately, it also costs us a lot less, because whereas we might replace your product, that OEM can just simply send out a $2 replacement part. So our product is entirely embedded within an OEM's flow when we work with them for resolutions. So that it's in some cases the same tool that they use for all claims that they have.
Got it. So you tie into probably their existing claim system. existing warranty systems that they have currently.
We can tie into their own, or they actually just use our product itself to manage all of it. I mean, you can create unlimited seats within Clyde.
Right, right. And so do you find the service providers, do you have a kind of a network of service providers, or are you finding that primarily coming from, your retail customer or your OEM customer?
We have a growing network of service providers. It's something that we're investing in really heavily in 2022. And we've begun to invest in this year. Ultimately, with our OEM partners, we're either enabling them to manage a resolution, or we're replacing it. And we're also building out this own service network so that we can take that burden off of them. Ultimately, a lot of the partners that we work with, they want to be the ones involved in the resolution.
Right, right. Are you seeing interest in the mobile phone market, or are you primarily staying out of that? I mean, I know that's kind of a big opportunity.
So we're a little bit in the mobile phone market. Clyde powers Back Markets program. The mobile phone market is definitely interesting. I think it's really hard to handle from a servicing perspective. That's probably not something that we're going to get into all that soon. But from a distribution perspective, it's extremely interesting for us.
Great, great. It looks like I'm going to take questions from periodically. Scott, if you want to unmute, feel free to ask your question.
Hey, yeah, I even let you see my beautiful face. Hey, Dan. Hey, Brandon. Nice to meet you.
How's it going, Scott?
Good. So, yeah, I have a question about services, kind of the direction you guys were going. I don't know if I call it criticism, but the concern I've always had with this type of model is that you can sign up a lot of different retail entities online, and you're going to get a ton of different product categories, right? And you're going to get a ton of different requirements for service. And the concern I would have is, like, with all these different products, are there any product categories that you try to avoid because the type of service is just going to be too complicated, or the product is too esoteric, right? Or something like that? Because I can imagine that you've got a whole bunch of different retailers and they're all slightly different, right? And taking calls or doing triage for DJ equipment is not exactly the same thing as VR equipment, which is not exactly the same thing as a Korean made tablet, and all that type of stuff is just a little bit different. So when you're kind of a mile wide, how do you think about that?
Yep. So I would say, like, the very, very first thing is having the right program. So, like, we need to make sure that every program that we launch is really thoughtful, where we're not overwhelming. We're not putting ourselves in a position where we have to repair something that we have no idea how to repair. So, like, that might be looking at like a replacement program over a repair program. Ultimately, we work with a lot of OEMs, so they're selling a minimal number of SKUs, and they have a whole flow of fixing the product themselves that we plug into that flow. And they want that to happen anyway, because they want to be the hero. They want to be the one that actually, like, handles the customer. So it's a combination of, is it the right program? What type of partners are we going after? What type of retailers are we going after? And then the last piece is the technology. So Clyde does everything on a SKU level, and we do everything on an order level. And all of this is public. You could see this straight from our API docs. We can route individual resolutions based off of individual SKUs. So you may have 30,000 different kinds of products, and we may have a wide number of different resolutions based off of those products. And ultimately, every time you add a new product to your system, it will fit in with a specific rule within our system and be routed to a specific kind of resolution. So you could go from 30,000 SKUs to 150,000 SKUs. We'd still have the same number of resolutions. And that's because we set up the program up front to be really strict about what resolutions we're willing to do. I would say if we were repairing everything, if Clyde like actually was repairing everything, it'd be really challenging. But what we're also finding in the market is, our partners are willing to pay for what is the best customer experience.
Right.
You know, it's the technology facilitates it not being a race to the bottom on pricing, because we're more oriented around like, how do we make this like a crazy good customer experience, something that like affects your business in ways beyond just the margin that you make on the contract sale.
Okay, so if I can follow up on it. So if I've got an OEM, someone like this, and they're like, look, we want to manage our service experience. Can you guys allow them to take calls or do their own triage? Or is that not cool?
We don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so Clyde's adjudicating all claims, but we'll now say, and there's a whole tool set. You know your product better than anyone else. You tell us how you want to fix this product, and you know we've got all sorts of like stop gaps and thresholds and things in there to make sure that like the program's not abused. But you know this is all functionality that's directly within our dashboard, totally accessible with our API. Yeah, it fits nicely into their flow.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just a reminder for some of the people who are online, you can feel free to put a question in the chat room if you have a question, and we'll call out and make sure that we answer it. Brandon, have you been involved at all in home warranty? Are you know, it's a quickly growing market, especially quite frankly, since the pandemic, there have been a lot of estimates it's growing at a fast clip. Have you experimented around in that area or doing anything in that area?
We've got a number of things in our roadmap that I would say it's something that like we're thinking about, we're making some moves on, like we're playing around and in that space. Can't really get into it too much just because you know, it's all stuff that we're thinking through or building. But we definitely recognize that, you know, as a growing market, just like you mentioned. Right.
Have you, how do you interact with insurance carriers right now? Do you find that, I know you have multiple partners, but do you find there's a market outside of warranty, or are you really kind of staying focused on the warranty?
So we're, you know, announcing a number of new products in Q1 of next year that are warranties involved in, but they also do a number of other things. Our bread and butter as a business is what happens after a customer buys a product, and all things with regards to that. Warranty is obviously a major revenue driver, and is what the market is looking for most aggressively right now. But we're seeing and learning about a lot of things as a result of launching and managing and finding success with people's warranty programs that are presenting other opportunities for us that we've built product around and are announcing. Some of them in the insurance space, some of them not in the insurance space.
Okay. Have you seen any emergence of performance warranties where, I'll use an example, let's say like Simply Safe, where you know, it's not so much about that tower that you plug and play in your house for security, but it would also offer, you know, if you're being monitored and you have a crime occur, we'll pay up to $2,500 of your deductible. Have you seen anything kind of like that? What I call performance. I know there was one for OtterBox, that if your phone is in an OtterBox and you drop it and it breaks, or you have water damage, they'll help you. You know, if you've registered, you can get a replacement phone. It's not so much about the case; it's really what the case does.
Right. So I can't say that I've seen like a massive emergence of that. And I might be missing something. Maybe there has been. What I can say is it's vital, I think, as a business right now in this space to be able to and willing to get really creative with what a customer actually wants. Like that's a great example for OtterBox of like what a customer actually wants is for my product to never break. And if it does, like I get a new, like that's what they really want.
Right.
And they don't want a new OtterBox. They want a new phone if the OtterBox fails. So that's an awesome product. I've seen the same thing with Tile doing that in a number of places. So yeah, I mean, I think that like you have to be able and willing to get creative and solve a need that like a customer really wants. And that might be with the program type or the pricing structure. And that's going to be critical, I think, moving forward.
Brandon, are those things that your team develops or collaborates with OEMs, or that you're getting kind of feedback from your partners, retail partners and OEM partners? How do you?
Is with regards to the question before of like getting creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it be a performance warranty, or whether it be some sort of ADH, or whatever the next innovation of ADH, accidental damage, is.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean, that goes very nicely into Steve's question around, how do we differentiate? We build custom experiences and programs for brands and for retailers. Like, we go absolutely above and beyond with figuring out what does your individual customer need and how can Clyde's platform deliver that. The differentiation is that Clyde's platform has the ability to do that because it's so modular, and because it solves a number of different problems. So we differentiate by building those custom experiences, and we're enabled to do that because the platform itself is so modular. And ultimately what results in that is like a much, much stronger customer experience and a much higher attachment rate than our competitors. We often get the feedback from accounts that, like, because of course we ask every time we win a deal, why did we win? And often the feedback is you were willing to do something that made this an experience that our customers actually want and others weren't able to or weren't willing to. And that's all about, from day one, we've built a highly modular product.
Got it. Steve, did you have any follow-up to that?
Oh, there we go. I can unmute myself. No, that's a great answer, man. Congratulations, obviously, on the Series B coming up and all. That's fantastic. I come from the home warranty world. No longer there. I'm in a BPO right now, but it's it really. I hear what you're saying relative to the modular differentiation of that, because I tried some retailer programs trying to shoehorn a home warranty in, and it's kind of tough taking a 40-year-old company and trying to fit it into any kind of modularity where I can bolt it on to retail stuff. So congrats to you, man. This you have a great product. I've been following it for a while.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Dan.
No, I was just gonna say, from the consumer experience, are you seeing the pandemic accelerating the growth of your company, just with all the online transactions?
In a mind-blowing way. I mean, it's just been, I guess, like, anecdotally, what I can say is, when we started the business, we didn't have any competitors. You had incumbents that existed, but no one was really doing this from a tech perspective. And we were pushing a boulder up a hill, absolutely. And what I mean by that is, yes, you could get, 1 million Shopify stores to download and install, and that's great. But like, getting major enterprises to say, one, I even want to do this, and two, I trust you guys to do it with, that was really hard. That was like pushing the boulder up the hill. And what has changed is that the boulder's flying down the hill and we're trying to keep up with it. And that happened during the pandemic. And I think the big transition there was CAC went through the roof. People needed to figure out, like, how do I drive really high margin revenue? And all of this business that people were doing in store, where they were selling a lot of warranties, that completely went away. So it was like, how do I now do this online? And the experience of owning a product has become a place that a brand is focusing a lot more on rather than just getting it into people's hands. That's been like, I think in the last year and a half.
Right. Yeah, it seems to have accelerated. We're hearing that all throughout the industry, how quickly the online transactions, but also the evolution. It used to be attach rates were counted in almost below 1 or 2% online, and that's changed a lot in the last 2 years. And typically insurance companies aren't innovative, and it's a stale industry. So there's been a whole lot of Clyde is one of a number. How do you differentiate Clyde from some of the other integrators or emerging partners and emerging people in the warranty industry?
Yep. So there's really 3 places I'd say. So there's like the experience side, there's the revenue side, and then there's like, what else can you offer me side of this? So on the experience side, like as I mentioned before to Steve's question, highly modular experience, everything about Clyde is dynamic. If you look at both of our competitors, everything is static across every single merchant. With Clyde, everything is dynamic, not even between our merchants, but actually on a per SKU basis. Everything is co-branded. The claims experience is fantastic. It happens as fast as, the fastest of any in the space. And again, it's highly modular. We collect an incredible amount of data. So being able to build custom experiences has been fantastic investment for us since day one. The second one is revenue. So like, how much revenue can we actually generate? And I think like we all in this room know that the best way to drive revenue is to have the highest attachment rate. Like otherwise it's kind of a race to the bottom, or you're nickel and diming. But if you can just sell like 2, 3, 4 times as many contracts, like that far outweighs any sort of margin compression. So we've spent a crazy amount of time focusing on that. That leads very heavily, obviously, into the experience side. How do you customize the sale on a per SKU basis? But our average attachment rate is 18% online, and that goes up to 30% in some cases. I think our closest competitor is at like 12. So that obviously is like a very, very significant amount of contracts that are actually being sold online. And then in store, that's the story that we all know.
Got it. The what is would you say, we always talked about my old company, ServiceNet, which was purchased by AIG. We would always talk about the lifetime value of the customer service relationship. Are you finding yourself kind of not just immediate post warranty or the just the warranty, but really at the end of life cycle type communications or relationship that you're helping?
I mean, totally. Like we have, as a business, have a much larger mission aside from just, hey, let's sell warranties, and lifetime value, life cycle, all of that fits into that vision that we have. So like a really good example of that in practice is the vast majority of our merchants that do have replacement programs. The way that we power that is through promo codes. So like, how can we actually like sell your customer a warranty, and if they have an issue, get you another sale?
Right.
Rather than paying them out and having them pay the rent with it or something like that.
Do you think InsureTechs will grow the warranty market, or more the services market, or displace some current companies? Would it kind of, how do you see the landscape occurring?
Well, so the vast majority of the deals that we're in are total white space. That's not to say they're not competitive, but they're brands that haven't yet done this. Or they're brands that sell majority through third parties, and they're trying to figure out, how do I capture revenue on that? So, I mean, the warranty market is going to grow massively. I'm sure it already has, but it'll just take like a year or 2 for us to like really recognize that. But absolutely, if you think about like the market in general, like who was selling warranties before these came around. It was, you know, Walmart, Amazon, PC Richards, like those types of businesses. In the next 2 to 3 years, like we'll think about Clyde and our competitors as in the buy now, pay later space, in the sense that everybody will want to do it because warranty is great, it drives revenue, but everybody will have to do it. It'll be a part of a go-to-market strategy, and we see that very intensely right now.
Do you see, you know, I did a lot of work with Apple. Do you see that as kind of being the model of loyalty for the space? You know, they know, you know, it used to be through iTunes, who their customers were. They were able to, you know, send out updates and have a relationship with the customer beyond just the point of purchase.
Yeah. So, I mean, Apple Care is something that the original 2-page business plan for the company was, this is the Apple Care. Our first website, you know, was all about like, this is Apple Care for your business. That's something that definitely has resonated with us for a while. And it's something that a lot of our competitors have just sort of like adopted as well. It's because it's easily the best sort of view of selling a plan and then actually like handling it. Clyde, I think more than anyone, does a fantastic job of that, because ultimately we enable you to actually have an Apple Care like program, which is you're going to resolve it. You get to be the hero. You get to treat the customer the same way that you would treat them if they came directly to you with an issue.
Got it.
So, I mean, yes, like they're a great, they're a great like business that we look at.
And you may have already answered this, but in situations where the OEM, you know, it's a refrigerator or a washer, it requires on-site service. Are those things that you just kind of pass up, or how do you handle the adjudication of a claim in that area?
So we work with a lot of partners that can handle those, and we'll lean significantly more into that in 2022. I mean, that's a place that obviously, like everything that all of us do in our lives right now is a function of where we can put resources. We're going to invest very heavily in that in the next year, because we think that we can do it much better than it's being done right now in terms of transparency and speed and, you know, how the customer actually gets a resolution. Right now we work with partners and we have integrations with different partners, different TPAs that we all know, to do a lot of that adminning and that resolution for sort of when you need to roll a truck, basically.
Right. Scott, I see you have another question.
Yeah. Hey, sorry. Yeah, we're going to get the CEO of the company on here. I'm going to milk it for all it's worth, right? So, yeah, one of the interesting things to me, and we all remember Square Trade getting purchased by Allstate, right? Peacecake. Is what, you know, there's a number of InsureTechs, not that dissimilar to Clyde in this concept. What do you think the value proposition is, and what markets do you think would be interested in acquiring that type of business? Right. I mean, we kind of know why Allstate purchased Square Trade, but I've been trying to think about verticals that'd be interested. I think PNC makes sense. I think Amazon makes sense. I just wanted to know what you think makes sense, like where that value proposition lies would be sort of best for other industries.
Yeah. Well, so the first thing that I'll say is I think Clyde is a company that has the ability to IPO and is in a market that can support that. And by that, I mean, not just extended warranty. I think we're in a bigger market than that. When I think about companies that have, like, hate to use this word, but I'll use it anyway, synergies with Clyde, I definitely think PNC insurers. I think Amazon. I think every buy now, pay later company. I think I don't know if you guys will, this will resonate with you, but I think about the warranty market as like just as much as a fintech, a financial product, as an insurance product. So I think any insurance company, fintech company, like there's really strong synergies around that. And a lot of the products that we're looking at and are actively releasing put us in the retail tech market too. So, you know, I don't think that big e-commerce platforms too are not, it's something that I think is also really interesting and provides a lot of value for. Yeah, I can't say that's something that we think about all that much, but it's well, it says I think we're generating a lot of value for a bunch of different potential markets.
Right. How do you think the advancement of AI will impact InsureTechs or your business, for more specifically?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we only think about two places that can impact, or three rather, which is the ability to sell something for a better price or sell something more efficiently, the ability to adjudicate claims faster and or improve loss ratio. And then the last one being making sure that, at least in our space, every single product that has the ability to sell a warranty, it has a warranty that's being sold on it.
Right, right.
So I think that there's like amazing opportunity with AI. I also think that you can do a lot without it. And I think there's a lot of marketing that happens with AI, and that's very valuable. And there are probably only a couple places that it's really, really impactful, either as a revenue generator or as a cost savings.
Got it. Do you think that, kind of going along that same theme with the IoT devices, there's a chance that the manufacturer knows about a failure before the consumer does. Let's just say, for example, HVAC. I know a lot of the HVACs know that the system, there needs to be a filter changed. Otherwise, you're about to have a failure that's going to occur. The consumer doesn't even know it yet, but there could be an IoT device and the manufacturer may know. How does that kind of play into the overall consumer experience of support, not just at the point of purchase? And there you go, it's on down the road.
I mean, I think that's gold for consumer experience and gold for our market, which is we can instantly handle a customer before they even know that there's an issue. And I don't mean gold from a revenue driver, but gold from like a amazing customer experience perspective. So like we have APIs that can do that in some cases where, an issue was actually reported by the product itself. And we're proactively handling something. It's always a delicate balance between like, how do you make this a crazy good customer experience? And then how do you not make it like unbelievably easy to file a claim and, or like push people to file claims.
Right.
So there's a delicate balance there. We're I'd say oriented around like, what's the best customer experience, but we're not, naive to the fact that you need to have a healthy loss ratio.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny because the manufacturers of these typically know your screen's broken
Right.
about the same time that you probably break your screen. I imagine the severity.
Or there's no hiding the fact that you drop your phone in your toilet. Like it tells them that it's wet. You can't hide that. So like this is all they're thinking about it just as much as we are.
You just named, I think, the number one claim, I think.
Yep.
But we have just a few minutes left. I want to kind of get your vision for Clyde and the overall warranty industry. What you see 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think the space is changing so much. I think that like even calling it the warranty industry is a miss. Like this is the retail experience industry from our perspective, and warranty plays a really big part of that, but it's a part of a much larger picture. And that's what we're executing on is, building a platform. Warranty is a piece of that, and making sure that customers are getting everything that they possibly can out of what they buy. And we do that in partnership with the merchants. So it's a big vision. It's about life cycle. It's about experience. And we think that warranty plays like a crazy critical part in that and is obviously a major revenue driver right now. And it's the glue that I think will keep this business and others together for a very long time. But I think if you want to succeed, you need to obviously differentiate, and how Clyde goes about doing that and how our competitors go about doing that, I think they'll end up being different. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Right, okay, I'll tack on one last question. This is somewhat self-serving, but it could go to any insurer. How can the insurance industry better serve you? And I'll be honest, get with it,
Yeah, definitely. Great question. So like Clyde is not an obligor. Both of our competitors have gone ahead and become obligors. We don't intend to do that. We don't think it's strategic. We don't think it creates equity value. We're all in on working with companies like Hornbeam. And ultimately, like if we want to play ball, like we need to be able to get creative, and we need to be fast. And we need to be able to push the envelope on the programs that are being designed and built. So that's, I think, the number one way, and anybody who works with Clyde knows that, that's what we're looking for, is speed, creativity, flexibility. And everybody in the warranty industry is incredibly nice, so it's not even worth saying, but like just being joyful to work with is I'd say the last thing. And it's something that we actually talk about quite a bit at Clyde, just being good partners.
Good deal. Well, Brandon, I want to say thanks for joining us this afternoon or this morning, depending upon where everyone is. And I appreciate those who attended. I know that there were a lot of requests for recordings of this, so it is recorded. And just want to thank you so much, and good luck to Clyde. And I look forward to seeing you in Nashville for
yeah, absolutely,
upcoming conference.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care.
Bye.
Goodbye.